Life is pain. Oblivion alone yields peace. You call me stranger. I call myself salvation.
The love of a god is not a blessing, it's a scar.
If destiny herself beckons me, then I shall greet her like an old lover.
There's gotta be more to life than making mistakes and making up for your mistakes.
I'm the paragon of risk and reward, behaving as more of a suggestion.
Fate is an offer I intend to reject.
You don't know me. I'm unpredictable, bitch.
I don't need to be a paragon to help save the world.
I came back for a reason, and I am not stopping until I find it.
I will solve the cataclysm, and I'll solve the mystery of myself, too. 4 paragons, 4 keepers, 1 stranger. Huh. Odds are in our favor. Now let's go save Endake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Arc 6, Episode 14 of Transplanar RPG, The Second Stranger. We are an all-transgender, POC-led, 100% homebrew Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live-streamed actual play campaign set in an original dark fantasy world of Endake, which is non-colonial and anti-orientalist. I am your game master and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me across the internet at @byConnieChong, namely Twitter, TikTok, Itch, and Ko-Fi. I'm going to pass along introductions up and over to Dare.
Hi, I'm Dare. Pronouns she, they, and Fae. I play gentle, pronouns they, them. You can catch me on all parts of the internet at Dare to Dream RPG, DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG, where I'm mostly just a problem. Yeah, that's just what I do, and I'm going to throw it down to Erica.
Hello, everybody. I'm Erica, she, her pronouns, and I play Vinok Scherzo, who's, just working through some dad stuff. Just some dad stuff. You can find me at Erica Newgirl everywhere I exist on the interwebs. You can mostly find me on Twitch, though, where I stream a variety of things. We like to be lewd and have a good time, so come check it out sometime. I will pass it to Humna.
Yes, hello, my name is Humna, and I use any and all pronouns, and today I will be playing Geron Gather, who uses they, he pronouns, and they're becoming friends with V, maybe, slowly, surely, I think, maybe. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of, because I am a TTRPG performer, so you can find me lots of different places. Twitter's the best place to know where I am at any given time, and I will pass it up and over to Austin.
Hey everybody, I'm Austin. My pronouns are he, they, she. I'll be playing Abiku. Ishtar's pronouns are she, her. You can find me over at Twitter at SailorScadosa. That's at Sailor SCT Austin. I am a game performer, designer, and friend. And this friend is here to tell you about our wonderful sponsor. We are proud to announce that this episode of Second Stranger is sponsored by Demetrio Pines and Explain Trade, negotiation skills training consultancy believing in the power of D&D and Transplanar's potential to grow, tell great stories, and lift our community up. Explain Trade trains negotiators for governments, big companies, NGOs, and offers e-learning courses for individuals looking to get a bill deal from their boss. Check them out at explaintrade.com. And speaking of people that help make this beautiful merry-go-round go round and round, I believe Erica has some special thank yous for some patrons.
Yes, for those who subscribe to our Patreon at the highest tier, they are our Patreon paragons, and those folks get a special shout out right here. So I want to thank these folks individually: Ozra, Brooke Bright, Bradley, Charles, Chilakras, Cora Eckert, Hat, Lex Slater, Marvelous, Conding, Moonflower Tea, Purple Mouse, Risa, Rue, Scruffuses, and Target. Thank you so very much. And now my favorite part. Dare, could you please explain to Grandma Erica what's happening?
I will do my best. Last time on The Second Stranger, Abiku and Geron had a passionate debate on morality, while Gentle avoided that entirely. Tyrion had a fun little talk with Geron, since they're V's worst friend, about getting V to trust him just a little bit. Abiku had a wonderful talk with the Raven Queen, while Gentle and Bud were sleuthing around trying to figure out about the poison that was used on Tomba. You know, Tomba's poison. The poison specifically designed for Tomba. I thought I had it. Tyrion and V had a very long talk with an offer of V learning the way of the Draconic mages, and they decided to wager that on a coin flip. And as risk and reward would have it, Tyrion won. Use the exclamation point recap in chat for a full recap. And I'm going to throw it over to Humna with the title.
Yes, as always, the titles of our episodes come from lines of poetry written by marginalized creators of all stripes. And today's episode is titled Giants and Generals from the poem The Soul by Anne Gorick. I'm sure the word giant has nothing to do with anything. And the full verse of the poem reads as follows. What exactly dies when the body dies? Existence was first explained in Saginaw, in the back of the garage. Giants and generals, these bandaged moments, died thoughts, a nebula so far away there is no picture. We are continually reborn as lyric.
Thank you for that, Humna. Moving on to the session itself, some content warnings for this episode and our campaign in general may include fantasy violence, gore, body horror, blood, apocalypse, trauma and grief, familial conflict, manipulation, heights, depictions of war, complex and complicated relationships, flirting and romance, and references to sexual entanglements. For a full list of these content warnings at any time, use !CW in chat and !safety for a look at the cast's lines and veils to know what content we're not gonna go touch, no matter how dark things get. So, with that out of the way, let's begin. Abiku. You close your eyes. The Raven Queen's voice ringing in your head like a prayer bell. A chill wind blows across your face. You smell winter, ice, memory. And when you open your eyes, you're still standing on that balcony. But everything is gray. The vast expanse of Netbuza's teardrop 1,000 feet below. The yearning teeth of mountains, the rime-slick banister. Only the raven, perched upon the railing, blooms with dark color. Its feathers are black, but glowing pinpricks blossom within its wings like starlight.
Turn around, Abiku. Face your destiny.
Sure, yeah, I 100% like whiplash turn around fast.
When you whip around, you see a floating thread of black light, beautiful as death, leading you back inside the citadel. And you feel compelled to follow.
I think, I will grab it and like start like, well, I like when I take it, I don't know, she's like, I might need to take this. I'm like taking it with me as I start walking, following it.
You hold onto this thread of black light, it blooms with heat within your grasp, and you go. You follow that light, I think. Down, down, down a hallway, your footsteps sounding muffled, like you're at the bottom of a lake. Everything feels dreamy, disattached almost, like you're having an out-of-body experience without actually being outside of your body. And everything around you is gray, just like on the balcony, the ancient walls rising around you, the vaulted ceilings, the statues, the stairways, everything except that floating strand of black light. And eventually, Abiku, you are guided to a foyer, to a painting mounted on its wall. It's a small painting, humble, unremarkable even, but you feel drawn to it. Like the thread, like the raven, this painting is in full color. It depicts a forest made of black glass, and nestled within that forest is a cottage.
Once upon a time, there was a girl. She was a hunter, living off the land, taking what she needed and nothing more. Her father taught her grace and magic, the names of birds, the stories of rivers, the impeccable joy of sitting and witnessing. Her other father taught her strength and honesty, how to talk directly, how to fletch an arrow, how to win a fight. If only all stories ended there, on the precipice of childhood, before the blade twists.
Abiku, you feel that tugging again, that glowing thread urging you onward to a different part of the citadel. And you follow. You walk past gray libraries, through gray gardens, around gray vestibules until you reach a museum, one of many here filled with ancient artifacts. The thread pauses in front of a long display box filled to the brim with weapons. Arrowheads, daggers, knives, each bursting with color.
There was a war. There was a draft. Her fathers left home, and only one came back. The girl grew up, took up arms, swore to protect what she had left. And in the war, she was told to kill not for survival, but for glory. She didn't understand. Why were they fighting? Why couldn't they just talk, like her father taught her? When would the bloodshed end?
Abiku, the thread tugs you onward, and for the third time, you follow. You exit the vast, echoing chambers of this museum and you enter a greenhouse. Flowers in monochrome bloom, the smell of pollen dull against your senses. It's humid here, warm, broad fronds branching in every direction. The thread leads you toward a humble garden bed filled with all kinds of flowers, but only one bursts with color, a collection of lavender.
And then the girl met her, the soldier from the other side. Fist to her face, inches from death, the girl called her beautiful. And she staggered. And they saw each other, truly witnessed, recognized the differences, and also the similarities. And they began to meet, in secret, away from their leaders, in the hidden places. Groves full of flowers and grass, caves with multicolored crystals behind the roaring spray of waterfalls. They fell in love, and their love spoke to us.
Abiku, the thread compels you forward. Away from this warm garden in full bloom, through a hallway toward the top of a flight of stairs, spiraling down, down, down. The thread descends, wraps into gray darkness.
As it starts going down, I think Abiku was just like, what? How does it end?
Soon, child, soon you will know everything. Follow that thread to the end, and you'll understand both the end of your story and the beginning of it.
Are you sure I am ready?
You are ready. Like I said, you are on the precipice, and now we fall.
Okay. And I'll start walking again.
As your muffled, dull footsteps go down every step, the Raven Queen continues in your mind.
The girl and her beloved wanted the fighting to end. So did we. Our children have been fighting for 1,000 years. We watched from the beyond with agony and pain. When we first wove mortal life into being, we agreed we would let you make your own choices, become your own people. But this had gone too far. We came to them, the girl and her beloved, the 8 of us, and we bestowed upon them small parcels of our favor, little blessings to turn the tide, to stop the war.
And Abiku, you travel down, down, down this flight of stairs, this ever-turning wheel, this gossamer journey toward the final destination of your memory. And as your form, I think, starts to vanish into the darkness, we pull out until we see the hallway becoming smaller, the stairs growing minuscule, and we see a sort of rippling rush ripple over the top of your head, and we understand this rush to be a ring spinning around a tapestry in the center of a hidden chamber. And as we pull away from this one vision of dozens, perhaps even hundreds of other places in the citadel, we see Geron at the edge of this chasm, observing these rings in order. Geron, you see Abiku going down a flight of stairs among one of many other visions suspended within these swirling corridors. What are you doing?
I think it hasn't been that long since the conversation with V. Maybe an hour, maybe 2 at this point. So Geron honestly hasn't left the spot since then. They've been sitting here continuing with the weaving that they were doing, the thread starting to form a little bit of an image. They didn't have an idea for what they were going to make. They just kind of were absentmindedly doing something with their hands so that he doesn't have to focus on anything else, doesn't have to focus on his thoughts. And so he's kind of similarly absentmindedly looking at the rings, not fully paying attention to them. I think his attention is more so pulled towards the tapestry itself, fixated intently on that last bit that is weaving and reweaving itself. I think Geron is waiting to see whether or not it will complete itself.
Okay. Geron, as you fiddle with your own weftwork, glancing occasionally up at the spiraling rings, at this constantly unknitting and re-knitting, chaotically swirling tapestry, you notice Gentle in one of the swirling, spinning threads of place that warp around the tapestry. You see your friend's face. You see Gentle in some sort of darkened chamber, surrounded on all sides by spindly instruments, bubbling liquids in vials, and Bud, gray, massive, bristling, stiff, on alert, at attention. And as we push into this scene, poof, we find Gentle and Bud in this lab, surrounded by the acrid smell of chemicals, those notes splayed out as pure, malicious evidence across a mahogany desk. And Gentle, your ears prick as we hear footsteps coming down the hallway toward you.
Gentle, someone's coming.
Okay, I'm going to try to pocket the most damning evidence, or as much as I can.
Okay, make me a sleight of hand check to see how much stuff you can grab.
Okay. Oh boy, this is stressful. 16. Oh wait, no, my bad. Misread that. That's 20.
20. Okay, that's pretty good. You shove a lot of stuff into your pockets, into your sack, into your satchels, etc. You're just like grabbing stuff off, and you get like a good chunk of the journals, of the scattered papers, of the diagrams, of the calculations. You just shove it all in. But at that point, I think because you choose to grab evidence over getting out, the footsteps, I think, suddenly hang like a right, and they like almost like speed up
because I think the door is busted in. There's no door anymore. So presumably whoever's coming down the corridor noticed there was just a hole in the wall. So the footsteps speed up and you hear Bud growl. And on the growl, you also hear a voice coming from the threshold of the door. What the?
I'm sorry, I can explain. And then I'm going to use fog cloud.
I love that. Okay, what does fog cloud look like?
Normally it manifests from Gentle's hands, so I think it is just Gentle's hands are just kind of softly humming a little bit, with a little, almost a gray mist just coming from their fingertips. As they sort of shake their hands and go, "I'm really sorry," and then an explosion of fog and mist begins to just block block everything around them.
You're literally like a ninja throwing a smoke bomb on the floor when you're caught doing something. Yeah, poof. Immediately gray mist expands out of your glowing fingers and just balloons up, propagates to fill this room, and it even spills out of the threshold and down the corridor from how thick it is. And you hear that voice go, what the? Hey, excuse me, you can't just be, hello? And I think as you're using this as cover, you hear that growling mounting in Bud's throat, explode into a fever pitch. And Bud springs up and attacks this person. So does their attack have disadvantage because they can't, because it's obscure? Well, actually they're using scent, so it would be normal.
Oh no.
That is a natural 18, which would hit. So you just sort of see Bud's huge form just disappear into the murk, and they hit something solid, and you hear and a smacking noise as whoever this person is gets plowed to the ground by Bud's immense form, and you just hear biting and snarling and scratching, and this person going, "Oh God, please!" Oh, God. And Bud going,
I yell in Moroz, "Stop!" authoritatively.
There is a pause.
But Gentle, I haven't fought anything in so long, and this is a bad guy, right? This is the guy that made the poison. Let me just show him a lesson. Let me just butcher him.
We don't know if that's the person who made the poison.
I did make the poison. Oh God. See?
No. So first thing, no butchering. No butchering, because we can still ask questions. We have the person who made the poison right here. We can get answers. No butchering.
Yeah, yes, please. I'll tell you everything. Please, oh God, I have a family. I'm just doing this as a job. Please,
And hear a really weak cough and a gurgle of blood. And this person who you still haven't seen because they're obscured now, as they're pleading and begging for their life. And Bud on top, you sort of see their massive shadowy direwolf form through the murk, and you sort of see their head sort of turn to look over their shoulder. And I need you to roll persuasion or animal handling.
Can I get anything for this?
Let's say you have advantage if you're appealing to Bud's gentle side.
I absolutely am going to be.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, it's not great. It's a 13, but a nat 1 was the first roll I made, so.
Oh, the nat 1 would have been bad. Yeah, okay.
But Gentle, I wanna do it. Sybil showed me how fun this could be. I got to throw people around, toss them, crunch on their bones. It's fun, right?
I don't think that you were necessarily taught everything correctly from Sybil. I think sometimes there are bad guys who need to be crunched, but not every bad guy needs to be crunched immediately. Sometimes we need to talk to people.
Okay, yeah, okay, we get information and then I can eat his face.
Oh,
God, please, no, I have a, listen, please, I have a family. I'll tell you everything you want, please.
I would like that. Also, I'm going to go over and try to heal them a little bit. I don't know how bad Bud did, but I'm worried.
Okay, as you go over, Bud goes,
all right, but I'm chewing his face off after.
and Bud gets off for now, right? Like backs away, and you see that like Bud's muzzle's kind of red, and so is like the fur around his like sharp tufted claws. And as you approach this person, you see a chameleon-like lizard folk man, sort of prone on the ground. Half of his body, interestingly enough, the bottom half of his body is invisible. It looked like that was maybe like a panic defense response, but then Bud tackled him before he could go fully invisible. And you sort of see like his legs, his trousers starting to ripple their way back into existence, and he looks fucked up. Like Bud got him on the shoulder, there's like a big bite wound like just on there, and he looks like he's on the edge of passing out or dying, like he's leaking blood everywhere. He's got this like short white hair.
Please.
You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And I will hand of healing if I can. All right, so that is 9 damage healed.
Okay, yeah, as you put your glowing hands on his shoulder, he flinches, but then like relaxes as we see like the blood stop bleeding, and like some of the wounds, the flesh begin to stitch itself up, and you hear like a cracking noise as like a bone snaps back into place. It seems like maybe Bud dislocated his shoulder too with that attack.
Oh, thank God. Thank you. Please don't let that talking wolf bite my face off. I would very much like to live. I'll tell you everything you want to know. What do you want to know about the poison? Tyrion made me do it. I swear. I mean, I'm an alchemist and all that. I'm good at what I do. But Tyrion made me do it. I didn't want to do it, but I was made to.
If you don't mind, I'm of course I offer to help them up.
Thank you.
If you don't mind hanging out with me and Bud for a second, for a little bit, I have a couple of friends I would also like to make sure they hear this.
And this like chameleon like lizard folk man just glances at Bud, who's still almost in like attack position a little, like but like standing at bay, like ears pinned back, muzzle wrinkled. Right, yeah, listen, Tyrion's got eyes and ears all over the place. I don't know how long it's gonna take your friends to get here. So I'll just tell you everything first. And maybe they can get here, and if not, I'm gonna get out of here. Because if Tyrion knows
you're good.
Okay.
No, you're good.
Alright, okay, well, what do you wanna know? And I think on that, we sort of pull out, like almost get like a bird's eye view on this chamber. As we pull out, like the top of it becomes foggy and shimmering, almost like we're looking at this scene through like a flashing stream. As we pull back into the tapestry room, and Geron, I think your eyes are fixed on that particular corridor, whirling around the westwork, and you see everything that happened with Gentle, right? And you see that like Gentle has subdued the threat and is talking to him.
I think at that, Geron puts down the threads that they were working on, their work, and starts to get up and like walks towards this ring, keeping an eye on it just in case it looks like Gentle needs help. Geron's not going to go through the ring just yet, I think, given that the fight has stopped and it seems like things might be okay, but they're keeping an eye on it.
As you keep an eye on that like whirling image of the fog cloud and Bud and Gentle and this third person roiling within it, I think your other eye catches movement on the periphery as well. As you recognize V, you get just like a flash of V's face, like very quickly for like a millisecond. Do you turn to look?
I do.
As you do, as you whip your head around, you see a chamber that has never showed up before in these rings. I assume you've been studying these rings pretty closely. You sit down and just weave and you look. You haven't seen this chamber yet. And as we push in on this particular like whipping corridor, we go past the rushing murk and into the vault of Banur proper. V. The vault of Banur is a vast,
domed chamber with sandstone pillars rising to support an arched ceiling. A mural, sprawling, intricate, vast, spans the roof depicting a myriad of gigantic queendoms, citadels of spiraling ice, kingdoms floating in the clouds, a city-state built into a bubbling volcano, mining towns bristling within chasms. This chamber, V, is massive enough to fit 100, 1,000 people inside. Think Grand Central Station. Tiered platforms rise from a limestone floor interspersed throughout the vault, almost like waypoints, 10, 15, 20 feet tall. And floating at the zenith of each dais is a different item. A sword, a book, a scythe, a spear, a ring, a cloak, so on and so forth, impossible to count the total number. And though there are no windows, light filters through this vault, soft, radiant light, like a memory of Galtanger. And Tyrion, I think he's stepped past the threshold into the vault. You're still in the hallway beyond the open circular door, I think. Tyrion turns, his lithe, muscular form underneath his suit dwarfed by the immensity of the vault behind him. It's like opening a door into another world. That's how huge this place is. He smiles at you, V, his piercing blue eyes crinkling at the edges. And I think at like the base of each pillar that you glimpse beyond, you see these huge, massive piles of pure gold bars and ores and coins, just like miniature mountains swallowing up the base of these sandstone pillars and columns. Come on in, V, this is your legacy. This is what I want to pass down to you. Come.
V looks around, and V has seen a lot of things in her life, in her 100 and some years, and this is probably the most impressive display of just wealth beyond anything imaginable that she's ever, the Emperor has nothing on this, is what V is thinking. And V looks back to Tyrion, who's standing there. And I think V has a quick memory of when she was in the mines with her friends at the beginning of this whole thing, and just like her casting knock just to pull a ruby out of a wall, and how she just reminds herself, eye on the prize, and stares deadlocked on Tyrion and steps into the vault.
Okay. The door remains open. It like hangs about halfway open, revealing like the dark corridor beyond it. But as you step into this vault, it's like stepping from shadow into daylight, right? Like this magical light filtering through the space. The weave is so tight and tense and powerful here. It smells like wealth and magic. There's no other way to describe it, like fresh gold, right? There's enough gold in here lined up against all the pillars to build kingdoms from, probably. Like there's enough money, wealth, power here to jumpstart a civilization, you figure. And all of these definitely powerful magical items, like floating on these daises, just like vibrate and irradiate power. And it's huge. It's like the size of a park. It's like massive, right? Like, and you look around and it just seems to get bigger, and there seem to be like other chambers like sprawling past the pillars. Like this is just the central foyer area. And Tyrion starts walking real casually, right? Like gesturing from like column to column, mural to mural. Oh, well, yes, you would have loved her. She was a very interesting mage, all about, combustion mechanics. And oh, yes, that man, he was my academic brother-in-arms. We plundered a lot of secrets in our time about how the cosmos worked, and, what do you think? You impressed?
I have to say, I truly must be your daughter. This is everything I could have hoped for at a time in my life.
At a time in your life? V, not now?
Well, I have more pressing matters in front of me. a potential fight that I don't know if I'm going to survive. You know, I've got so much to work through in these final months that and V like looks around some more and like is definitely like starry-eyed at all this. This is what she was looking for so long of her life. Something like this that would have like made her on a level where she wouldn't have to ever compete for anything ever again. And she realizes that as much as this is pulling to her, like surprisingly what she is, this image of like Rev's face pops into her eyes for a moment, and then she like wipes it away, and as she's looking at all this, you could just say that for now, this is not my priority.
Yes, no, that makes sense. That makes sense, saving the world and all that, surviving the apocalypse. Yes, very smart and astute. Well, this will be your legacy after we defeat the stranger together, father and daughter. What do you say, yeah? I mean, the coin said it. Speaking of which, what better time than now to initiate your training so you can access your true draconic mage form? What do you say?
I couldn't be more excited to get this on with.
Beautiful. And he claps his hands once and like twists his wrist, and poof, like popping into existence in his hand is a vial. And inside this vial is a kind of like bubbling white liquid, like shimmering, right? Glittering almost, like it looks like a potion of some sort. And as soon as he summoned it, you can just feel the magic radiating off of it. Well, you are my daughter, my blood, but you are only half my blood, V, so we're going to have to make up the difference with this little potion of my own creation. If you drink it, it should allow you to untap, unlock your true potential so we can begin training. Here. And he holds the vial out to you.
V takes the vial. And she's gonna look it up and down. She's gonna like, does this look like, I assume the answer is an easy no, but does this look like anything V has ever seen before? Is there anything arcane that V can like pick up about it?
Make a nature check.
Oh gosh.
Or, you know what, or Arcana. Or Arcana, yeah. I'll give it to you, Sorcerer. I'll give it to you.
All right, perfect. Let me roll some dice. Come on, character sheet, get me to where I want to be. Okay. An unnatural 20?
It's definitely magical. As you take this glass vial and you examine the contents, you see a shimmering up and down with an unnatural 20. It looks like it could be any sort of potion. Usually, if you're like, is this like a poison or something? Usually there's a tell. There's a smell that's off, or there's something in the spell work that pings, I think, on your like arcane senses. But this with a 20, this looks like just like a deeply magical potion, right? Similar to like a healing potion or like a potion of strength or like a potion of luck or alacrity or something. It's shimmering. It doesn't look ominous.
I think V is gonna look at it and gather what she can from it. Look around at this room. She's gonna use her thumb to just like sort of like pop the cord, just and you're sure this is good? You've made this correctly.
Of course.
You've tasted it yourself. Do you know this is gonna work?
Well, it wouldn't work on me because I am a full draconic mage, but it should make up the power difference. Should allow you to withstand the rigors of training. Go ahead. I'm eager to get on with the training.
Oh gosh, V, like time slows down as V begins to lift it to her mouth, and she like closes her eyes and she thinks about everything that's going on right now between the stuff with Tyrion and with her friends, with the stranger, the things that happened with Adam. Everything in the totality of this situation is flowing through her head right now. And she just turns the vial upside down and spills it all on the ground.
Yeah, the liquid just comes out in a single trail and it splashes onto this beautiful limestone floor. And the final drop dribbles out of the glass. And your father's just sort of standing there looking at you, still sort of smiling with that same face that he had on when he was expecting you to drink it. What was that about, V?
Can we not do this anymore?
Do what?
Pretend like everything's okay. Pretend like you've been looking for me all my life and I've been looking for you for all my life. Can we just not do that anymore?
And what would you prefer we do, V?
What about we try something which might be a little difficult for both of us, and maybe we try telling the truth for once?
Truth? I'm flummoxed, V. I thought you agreed to join forces with me, stand with me as daughter and father against the stranger. Why did you throw that away?
Because you never intended to find me when I was born. You never, ever was trying. Do you know all the things that I've done in my life? I have broken into almost every vault I can find. I have stolen from the heads of every country of Vendake. I have done everything in my attention to get your attention. You're telling me you've never heard of me before this moment.
I was telling you the honest truth in front of the citadel when you first came here. Guns blazing, literally. I sent Seaver to look for you. When a half-century ago I had visions that I might have a daughter, he lied to me, V. I trusted him. And he lied.
Just like you're doing now?
I don't understand, V. What are you accusing me of? What have I done?
What have you done? You left a woman to become the shadow of her former self. You let her struggle as an outsider as she took care of me, your daughter. You didn't care when she got sick. You didn't come and take care of her as she was dying. You let me sit by her bed alone as she drew her last breath. And not only that, you let me sit in resentment and hatred towards her because I thought she was making it all up. She talked about you all the time my entire life. She kept telling me that I was great, that I was destined for greatness. And I didn't believe her because everything in our life had shown to that point that I was nobody special, that I was merely just another person just trying to get by in Ndake. And then I will never get that moment back. I will never be able to tell my mother, you know what? I believe you now. It's finally, I believe you. Everything you told me was true, and I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. I never get to have that moment, ever, again. And so what did you do? You left, and you never came back. And now you have the audacity to act like everything is fine. I am never going to tell a lie again. Ever. So maybe this whole dragon thing of yours, if you truly are the last dragon, maybe it's time you join Tamba.
Excuse me? V? What are you implying here?
There is a flash of light in V's hand, and Gamble is there in her hand. And V's eyes begin to glow, one green, one purple, as she begins shuffling the deck. What I'm saying is that unless you start telling me the truth, I have no further business for you.
V, it doesn't have to come to this. I'm not interested in fighting you. You're my daughter. I've been telling you the truth. Yes, I left Paya. I've apologized for that to your face dozens of times over since you've come here. I can't turn back time. I can't do that. There's a lot of magic I can do, but that is one thing I cannot achieve, no matter how powerful I become. I'm sorry, V, but you're here now. We can make up for lost time here. We can stand together just like how Paya wanted. Is this what your mother would have wanted? And he gestures at the deck of cards in your hand. Or would she have wanted you to love me? Like she loved me.
V continues to shuffle the deck. My mother always said that I was destined for greatness, so would she say that this is what she wanted? This? Being a paragon? Having shards of gods inside of her daughter? I think she saw this coming long before I ever did. And I think V spreads out the cards in her hand, like fans them out. And she pulls out a card. And the rest of the deck just kind of whoosh vanishes into her hand. She's just left holding one card that let's just say she puts it to her chest. The card facing her chest so no one can see what it is.
V, you don't have to do this. I'm not going to fight you. V, let's talk it out. Okay? It doesn't have to come to blows. I don't know what exactly it is that I've done here since you've arrived at my home to garner this animosity. All I want to do is help you. I want you to ascend to unlock your ability to shift into a true draconic form. That way, maybe that way, we can beat the stranger, save Endake, and spare all the god shards and the Paragon's lives in the process. Come on, V. And he holds out a hand. Don't do this. Trust me.
V takes a moment. She's thinking about this. She, like, in her head, she's like, am I making this up? Like, is this, like, am I taking this too far? Am I just reading into this? Am I just putting my own shit onto this situation? Is Tyrion actually, like, not a bad person? Like, V is having all the thoughts. Like, no, I mean, come on. Anyone who employs Sievert for, like, over 100 years can't be that great. Like, V is literally, like, calculus braining just all these images and integrals and derivatives and thoughts and the rivers of all the destinies that ever were and could be. And she, like, pops back into her body out of her thoughts. And she, like, goes ahead and moves the card so she can see it. And she smirks a little bit to herself as she makes eye contact with Tyrion. And she flips it over. And it's the Justice card of the tarot. The Justice card. And I did all this beforehand because I knew this would, like, slow up things, but she's going to use that Justice card to cast level 5. She's going to cast Bestow Curse. There's 4 options, or I could make up an effect of what it does, but I am going to choose that while cursed, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against you. And V is going to lovingly place that in Tyrion's hand, put her hand on top of it, and with that, there's going to be a bright green flash between their palms as Tyrion feels Bestow Curse attempting to be cast upon him.
I think there's, like, a flash of green light as you put the card in his hand. He goes, what is this, V? What? And he just sort of flicks his other hand and counterspells it. Like it's not even, like, a concern. V, come on, my daughter, please. And he presses the card back into your palm to, like, return it to you. Please, I don't want to fight you. Let's talk. Is there anything else I can do? I I had Sievert on a platter for you. I killed him for you. He was my only friend for a number of years, my only true friend, and I killed him for you. I don't know what else you want me to do here, V. Tamba died by Sievert's hand while I was talking with you. I wasn't there to save her, to protect her. I don't know what else I can do to make you trust me. Let's get to what this is really about. Yeah. It's that I wasn't there for you. Yeah. What you said about Paya, what you said about your mother. I didn't show up, I left. I never came back. I mean, how can you blame me, V? I wasn't aware of your existence. And I did the right thing any father would when I learned you might exist. I investigated. Came back empty. I don't see how I'm the bad guy here. I did everything right. Maybe my only mistake was leaving Paya, but gosh, she's immortal. V, even if I stayed by her, she still would have died. Eventually. You and me, V, you share my blood. We're not like the rest of these people here. We live until we're killed. Draconic mages of the highest order. That's what we do. I've been around for 15,000 years. I've had trysts with other women, men, people across the ages. I've forgotten their names and faces, but I've never sired a daughter with any of them. I've never had you. You know, maybe Paya, maybe in the grand scheme of things, Paya wasn't that special, but you are.
Wow. I'm beginning to get a second regret, which is not only can I not apologize to my mother for not believing her, but now I regret that I can't let her know what an unbelievable piece of shit that you are. Frankly, when I came here, I don't know if I thought this would end well. And then I got here, and I see who you are, which is to say, I see myself in you. The worst parts. I said that I am going to never tell a lie again, so here is me being honest. You are the absolute worst that I have ever done in my life. All of those aspects of me, I see in you. Greed,
well, then.
Lying, being a chameleon that cheats people out of whatever they have. You don't deserve to be alive right now.
Fee, please, this is juvenile. You're projecting. You're seeing the worst parts of yourself in me because you've never really given me a real chance. You were never gonna hear me out. You were never gonna try to listen to reason, were you? Ugh, just like your mother. That's the mortal side in you I see coming out, driven by her heart and her emotion. And you sort of see, like, Tyrion, he's starting to get impatient, right? He, like, crosses his arms. You know, he's not, like, attacking you, but, like, he's sort of, like, looking down on you in this moment, insulting your mother. What do?
V, if you were in V's body, you could feel the blood coursing through her veins, bubbling. She is so unbelievably pissed at this piece of crap in front of her. And she never let go of the bright, shining green and purple eyes. And now her stitches, her scars from being ripped apart in the nothing plane are starting to glow as well. Her whole body is just emitting green and purple light in all directions. In fact, the objects all around her are starting to turn purple and green from the glow. And I think V's hands clench into fists at her side, and the ground beneath her begins to shake as the light around her gets brighter and brighter, almost as she has this ball of light around her that's become white because it's so intense. And there is this sudden booming sound as she casts, for the first time ever, Draconic Spirit. Summon Draconic Spirit.
Okay.
So basically, from the bright booming light, this dragon spirit of pulses into the air, and it is just, because people don't see what in modern Nantucket, this is so rare. But it's just so beautiful. It's got like some of its fur is green and some of it is purple, and it's got several wings up and down its back, propping it up into the air as it lets out this mighty roar, and going to direct it to attack Tyrion.
Okay. If it's okay with you, I think this draconic spirit is like a serpentine, like a Chinese dragon, right? Kind of like the dragon you turned into in like Arc 2. It's sort of, it's like tufted and it's massive and it coils out of you and it goes up and it like dwarfs Tyrion, right? Like a shadow, a glowing shadow falls over him and he uncrosses his arms to look up at it. Huh. Wow. Beautiful, V. Truly marvelous. You know, if you joined me, I could help you become this. This is your draconic form, V. But it's just a simulacrum. It's not at its full height, not at its full majesty. And it attacks him, right? So how does that work?
So it makes a number of rend attacks equal to half the spell's level, rounded down, so that would be 2. So it gets 2 rend attacks. And it uses breath weapon.
Okay, go for it. Make those attack rolls, I assume.
Yep. All right. So that is a 27 and a 26.
Those would hit.
Okay. So that's 12 points of damage of the rend attacks. And then for the breath weapon, the dragon exhales a destructive energy in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a dexterity saving throw against your spell, which is, if I still remember, yep, it's 17.
He doesn't move, so you can roll damage.
Perfect. And is 13 points of fire damage.
Okay. So this draconic spirit surges forward with its like various claws, and I think maybe because it's kind of ghostly, right? It's like a spirit. Maybe it even like phases through him, and all you see its claws like rending and scratching at him, and then it turns around and like blows this massive roar and gout of spiritual flame upon him, and he disappears in this inferno, right? This incendiary inferno. Like his form is just wrapped up in these tongues of fire, and the draconic spirit closes its maw eventually and coils back to you, and like a gust sort of like whips around this battlefield as the attacks sort of simmer down, and like when the flames disappear, you see Tyrion looks unharmed. V, what is this? You're not in full control of yourself. You're overreacting, okay? You're acting out. This is, I mean, you still are my daughter after all. I am your senior by a magnitude of orders. So just put the draconic spirit away. Put your little cards away, and let's talk about this. Like adults. Stop throwing this tantrum. Honestly, if you want to be honest, it's why I never really wanted kids in the first place. So much emotion. I thought that, now that you were grown up and an adult woman, maybe we could have a real one-to-one, but what is this? You're being clouded by emotion. It murkens your judgment.
The more he talks like this, the more V gets pissed off, so she's going to cast our old friend Scorching Ray. She's going to make 3 rays of fire shoot at Tyrion.
You can make him with advantage because he does not move.
Perfect. Hold on. 28, 24. That's only like 13.
Only the 28 hits.
Okay. So that's 7 points of fire damage.
7? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the 2 rays that shoot out just sort of bounce off him. Like there's almost like this like kind of like shimmering shield around him that it just sort of splashes off against, but that 3rd ray does hit him, and it splashes across his chest. And he looks unharmed. Like there's no like residue on his jacket, like his hair doesn't get singed. He looks exactly the same. V, you know what? you know what? Clearly you need this. Let it all out. Hit me with your worst. Was that your worst? Was that the power of the paragons? Come on, you can hit me harder than that. Just let it out. Let's let out your anger, and then we can talk. We can talk like adults. How about that? Come on, hit me.
I think a little bit the steam is running out of V's sails a bit now at this point. I think she just looks at him, and I think the draconic spirit slowly like dissipates back into the weave, and she just sort of slumps down first to her knees quickly, but then like just over to the side, and she's like sitting on her hip, kind of legs just dangled to her side, and she's just like, all right, give me the stupid drink. I'll take it.
Thank you for finally seeing reason. Now, I said I'd have to make some more, but I think I've got a little bit of some dregs left. And he flicks his wrist again, and you see like a duplicate of the vial just appear in his hand. It just looks like the same vial that you poured out. They still have the empty glass with you. All right, did that feel better? Let it all out against your old man? Come on, have a drink. And he comes toward you and holds out the vial once again.
And V again pops the cork in a very similar way. Can I commune with Scott and Nectus at all?
I think you were a little distracted by the vault and Tyrion monologuing at you a little bit, and like Tyrion being kind of a dick to you. But as you like on your knees, you know he's holding this vial out to you, and you tap into your god shards. You can't feel him, V. There's something about the magic in this vault that seems to be forming a barrier between yourself and your god shards. Like they're hidden behind like a thick pane of glass. You can feel them, they're still in you, but you can't reach them and they can't reach you.
Oh gosh, it's the I'm in danger meme all over again. You know what? V's gonna close her eyes, think about Rev and Lotus, be like, risk and reward, and she's gonna drink it.
Okay. V, you tilt the vial back and you drink. And as soon as it goes down your throat and into your stomach, you know something is terribly, horribly wrong. It's the pain that alerts you to the problem at first. It courses through your nerves like fire, just pain blooming out from your gut, seizing up every part of your muscle. And I think like as you're knelt on the floor, you seize up, almost like you're petrified, and like we see the veins on the sides of your neck like jut out. And I think your body begins to tremble, like beyond your own control, as this pain and agony just racks through you. And Tyrion is standing above you, his head sort of cocked to the side, looking at you. Huh. Wow, color me impressed. I didn't think you'd actually drink it. That was easier than expected. And V, I need you to make a con save.
I figured as much. 25?
Okay, that just saves. So you are not going to die, but you will drop to 0. So I think the world starts to close in on you. It starts to get dark, right? But you're hanging on to consciousness. How I like to treat 0 isn't that you're out. It's like you're on your last breath, right? While you're rolling death saves. You're still aware of what's happening around you. You're on your knee and you're just shuddering and shuddering. And you can feel Scott and Nectus at this point banging against that glass in your soul, trying to like bang, and you can feel something cracking in you, and like there's like a part of you kind of far away being like, okay, maybe Scott and Nectus can save me, maybe they can help me out of this predicament, because you did make the save, right? They're banging. But as Tyrion stands over you, he just sort of, I think actually he sort of squats down, right? Like props his hands in like the crooks of his hips, and he just cocks his head to the side and looks at you as you're just like petrified there, shaking and shuddering, like blood starting to drip out of your pores and like down your throat, like from how much this hurts. And I think you're bleeding out of your nostrils, out of your ears, out of your mouth, like a trickle of blood comes out the corner of your eye, and he just sort of cocks his head and looks at you. I am 15,000 years old, V. I have seen empires rise and collapse. In the same breath, I have listened to languages form and become forgotten. I have tasted magic blooming and withering and dying. I have witnessed the rise of heroes, paragons, destined saviors of the realms, and I have witnessed their weakness, their humanity, their failure. I am a living testament to everything Ndake was, is, and will become. And I think like as we like start to pull away a little bit from this speech, we like come out of this corridor and we see Geron. You see all of this happen as you're standing there between Gentle and, you know, on a pathway between Gentle and V. You hear all of it too, I think. Like you hear the conversation between Tyrion and V. You see V attack Tyrion. You see Tyrion not fight back. And then you see V take the drink and collapse, and you're hearing this now, and we push back in as Tyrion continues. You think the Paragons will save Ndake? V, the Paragons failed. You failed to defeat the stranger the first time. I saw it with my own eyes. I didn't intervene because I knew the cause was lost. I had other things to trouble myself with at the time anyway, and you're gonna fail again this time. That is a guarantee, my beloved daughter. I'm sorry, but I don't bet on broken heroes. You're weaker. You're shattered. You're severed from the after and the beyond. You don't house gods within you. You house their shards. And you're arrogant enough to think your sacrifices can hold back the apocalypse? For a century, maybe. Maybe even a millennia if you're lucky, but she'll be back. She'll always come back. And the third time she returns, Ndake will be so broken and drained from your and your god shard's collective sacrifice that she'll destroy everything with no resistance. Unless I kill her. I am on the precipice of godhood, V. I don't mean this in some arrogant, deluded way. I mean this literally. The Dragon's Bane curse. Let's talk about it, yes? The parting gift of the gigantic mages of yore. The final nail in the coffin of the 1,000-year war. When we slaughtered every last remaining gigantic queen and general in this vault, and he actually stands up and gestures. Their trap triggered. A spell. Complex, vicious, beautiful curse work like the likes I'd never seen before and I have not seen since. Weave be sapped, come weave be gone. Weave be withered from dragon tongue. Blood of blood spilled claw or fang, Gesh be bound by dead queen rain. Only when one soul outlast shall Dragon's Bane come true to pass. Do you know what that means? It's a rough translation from Ba, but it took me 5-10 years to come up with it myself in common. You know what that means? It means every single Titan after the war was severed from the weave. Myself included. Those cruel, cunning queens crashed the ship to kill the captain. Even their own gigantic mages were affected by the depth, the fury, the bitterness of this curse. The Dragon's Bane curse meant that no true Titan would ever be born again, and that the remaining Titans would lose our ability to shift, to channel raw magic in a way Ndake has never seen since. But every curse has its solution, has its way of breaking. Remember that verse I just said to you? Translated it myself. Only when one soul outlasts shall Dragon's Bane come true to pass. Those queens had a sense of humor, I'll give them that. The only way to break the Titan's Bane curse was for us to, you guessed it, kill each other off. That's how Ba Nur really fell. That's how the Orders fell after the 1,000-year war. We turned on each other. Brother slew brother, sister slew sister, sibling slew sibling, each of us determined to be the sole survivor in a bloody battle royale that spanned centuries until the last of us scattered, shattered across the realms, retreated into deep hibernation, or died off on our own. And you know what? I have a list. Right here. And he taps his temple. Of every single Titan that survived the war. And over the years, over the centuries, the millennia, I've killed by my own hand. Let's see, what is it now? Now that Tomba's gone. Right, 23,962 Titans. Let that sink in, V. 23,962 Titans. And with every kill, I feel the curse waning. It's a blood sacrifice to me. As the weave returns to my body, I am stronger, I am faster, I am longer lived than any Titan that has ever stalked this earth. Even before the war, I am stronger. The deeper the curse, the deeper the effect, the more powerful I shall be when it finally breaks. Those dead, foolish queens thought they'd sealed our fate. Ha! They didn't. In reality, they just made it so that the last survivor would become a god, greater than the 8 combined. I will outlast you, V. I will outlast the Paragons. I will outlast the Stranger. I will outlast Andake if I have to, as I have outlasted every single other catastrophe, monster, king, hero, god that has ever walked this earth. And after I become god, after I kill the Stranger, I will remake Andake in my image. I will craft the utopia we Titans have always dreamed of, a world free of pain, free of suffering, blooming with magic and art and beauty and power. You, V, you were an unforeseen anomaly. You see, the Titan's Bane curse ensured that no true child would ever be born, but I suppose you resisted that, did you? Paragon and all. Paya wanted a daughter, a child, a legacy, something to remind her of the good times we had when it was all over for her, of course. How mortal of her, how myopic and small. I was never interested, I was never like Tomba, that sentimental fool. Settling down with a mortal, blech. Forming a little family, a family she would one day outlast. But she was never like me. She never killed, not once, as far as I know. Ultimately, Tomba's attachments were her downfall, V. She'd laid low for so long, been so careful for 10,000 years, avoiding me and the other cannibals. But she just had to go and fall in love. Blech. Love. A fatal flaw. That's how I found her. Or rather, that's how you found her for me. I must thank you, V. It was easy to pry that information from Trenchfoot after Cain dissolved the Kusing Guild. I've been trying to find the final Titan for years. Tomba Denyon, she was the only one left. And you dropped her right into my lap. So thank you. I was going to kill her myself. After weakening her through an induced coma, it's quite hard to kill us final Titans, you see. I'm essentially invulnerable. But then you arrived. You. I thought Tomba was the last mage I needed to get rid of so I could break the curse. I was mistaken. And my mistake began, of course, with Sievert. You see, I suspected a while ago, this part was true, I was being honest with you, V. I suspected I might have sired a child when I received visions of one about a half-century ago. I sent Sievert to investigate you. And when he came back after a few months of gaining your trust, he lied to me.
Swore up and down that you weren't mine. I even pried his mind, but it came out clean. Now I know. Now I know this entire time he'd been wearing an artifact. A mind-shielding gold tooth that prevented even my magic from ascertaining the truth. Very clever of him. I lose track of my hoard. Sometimes I'd forgotten about that little delicacy from the Gambit of Queens. That poor, pathetic fool. He didn't lie because he was jealous that I'd love you more than I loved him. No, V. He lied because he loved you. Because he knew that if I knew you were my daughter, my true daughter, I would have found you and killed you years ago. He tried to protect you from me by pushing you away. But he couldn't protect you forever, could he? No. He failed. The instant you came here, his fate was sealed. I could tell you were mine as soon as I laid eyes on you. And he knew this. So we struck a deal while you've been spending your time enjoying the Citadel. If he killed Tamba, if he proved his commitment to the cause, then I'd forgive him for his trespasses and I'd spare you. I told him I'd find another way, another path to godhood that didn't involve your death. He believed me. What a fool. He died the way he lived, V, impaled on his heart for you. I can't afford to wait for you to sacrifice yourself and your god shard against the stranger. If you die that way, your soul goes to the never. Not to the after, not to the beyond. Your death will be null. And the curse, unfortunately, will remain unbroken forever. So I hope you understand, V, that I'm going to kill you now. And on that, we cut to break. So we will see you in 10 minutes. Enjoy the fan art reel. Enjoy the music. Picho.
Hello, 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 Transplanar friends and family! GM Connie here with a very exciting word from one of our incredible sponsors for Arc 6 of The Second Stranger. Roll is an alternative to complex virtual tabletops, instead serving as a people-first online play and creation platform for TTRPGs and all sorts of social narrative play. With a focus on high-quality video, intuitive code-free creation tools, and simple, seamless gameplay for everyone, Roll is the easiest place for you to run your games online. Also, with Roll's drag and drop sheet builder system, you can create content for any game you want to play, even your own homebrew hacks. Tell the stories you want to tell. Roll empowers you to do so. Also, Roll is 100% free for anyone to use all the time. So sign up today and run your next game at playroll.com. Roll, you can play with us. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back from break. Let's hop right back into it. Some content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, gore, body horror, dare, we know you're not frozen, blood, apocalypse, trauma and grief, familial conflict, manipulation. Yeah, heights, depictions of war, complex and complicated relationships, flirting and romance, and references to sexual entanglements. Use !CW in chat for full list of these content warnings at any time, and !safety for a look at the cast's lines and veils to know what content we won't go into no matter how dark things get. So, with that out of the way, let's hop back into the session. Abiku. You reach a landing, and you find yourself in a vast hall. A corridor fit for a queen. A throne room, it feels, with ceilings 80 feet tall, no, taller. Pillars punching toward the sky, walls painted with massive murals.
And at the end of this hall, you see an iron door, circular, with spokes radiating off the surface. It's halfway open, and the room beyond it beckons with a golden light. And the Raven Queen continues, her voice simmering in your mind like a song.
The girl knew her queens were planning something. A trap, a curse to blight them all. And her beloved knew her lords would stop at nothing. The confrontation was set. A siege that lasted 8 days and 8 nights. A final battle in the vault of Bon Noir. As they'd planned, as they'd rehearsed, as they'd hoped and feared and dreamed, the girl and her beloved sprang between their clashing families. They pleaded, they commanded, they entreated, they begged.
Is this where it happened?
And Abiku, as you approach this circular door, like your one hand still guiding along this thread of darkness, right, like a rope, compass, pointing you toward true north. As you walk toward that, like, halfway cracked open door, you get the sense that yes, the Raven Queen is guiding you, leading you, showing you the place where your story ends and begins. And Abiku, as you approach this circular door, you glimpse what's beyond it, I think. You glimpse a vast chamber, larger than any room you've ever been in, interspersed with raised platforms that bear floating items at their peak. Everything here is washed in grayscale. Everything except that thread of black light, which finally, once it crosses the threshold of this door, stops leading you forward. It ends here, at the brink of the vault. And before your very eyes, Abiku, its obsidian threads knit into humanoid forms, weaving an illusion of the Raven Queen's story that only you can see. You see an army of gigantic mages forming, made of glistening, shadowy light, standing strong behind several tall, proud queens. And facing off against them, you see a squadron of draconic mages, bristling with power, waiting for instruction from their lords at the front. And you see yourself. And Shrin Yi, standing between these two massive forces, your hands outstretched, backs pressed against each other, entreating your respective sides to listen.
And Abiku, the tragedy is, they did.
And one by one, you watch as soldiers on both sides lower their weapons, as the queens exhale and bow their heads, as the lords look askance, ashamed at their viciousness. You watch as the tension begins to bleed out of the vault, as the end of the 1,000-year war becomes tangible, as this hatred and vengeance and fury and ambition starts to feel small and surmountable. But then one lord, a draconic mage with short brown hair, tawny skin, and eyes of cold, violent blue, raises his hand into a fist. An icicle ripples into existence in his grasp, and before his fellow lords can stop him, he hurls it through Shrin Yi's heart.
And chaos descended.
You watch this illusion, this memory, as draconic mages, horrified and furious, turn upon Tyrion, but then an arrow flies through the air, gets a lord through the neck, lightning explodes, fells a queen, and violence takes over again. You watch amidst this panic, this bedlam, as you fall, collapsing to the ground, cradling Shrin Yi, oblivious to the chaos raging around you. You watch, Abiku, as you hold your beloved to your chest, screaming wordlessly, crying as she reaches weakened fingers upward toward your lips.
The girl and her beloved died the way they lived, holding each other, fighting for love. This is who you were, Abiku Ishtar. You and Shinyi both. You are heroes. You were our first chosen, our first keepers, before there was a word for it. You were our hope, and you did well.
Wait, then how did I get to the chasm? Why did you wake me up? Why am I here?
Abiku, when the cataclysm fell, and the beyond was severed from them now.
And interrupting the Raven Queen's explanation, you hear a voice ring out from deeper within the vault, and as soon as it does, I think you see those like threads, those illusions get wiped away like sand in a gale. You hear Tyrion's voice ringing out from deeper within this vault go. So I hope you understand, V, that I'm gonna kill you now.
Abiku... Your Highness, please hold. And feet aflame with Ashadorn stride. It depends on how far he is. If he's like super far, I'll shoot him. But if I can get there, I'm just gonna run drop kick this dude.
Fuck yeah. Fire erupts from your feet. You cross that threshold into the vault, and you see exactly what I described to V, like a huge, it's like a second world in here, right? It's huge. This could fit a town, right? This vast chamber. A vault is almost a misnomer here, right? These platforms, glittering gold pillars, these murals, and maybe like 80, 100 feet deep into the vault, you see V collapsed on her knees, bleeding like blood out of her pores, shivering and shaking, and standing above her, Tyrion, with his hand outstretched, almost like toward her face, almost gently, but you heard those words ring out. And as soon as you breach the threshold, that grayscale ripples away. As soon as you take one step of your own volition, color shatters back into existence around you, like just wiping away monochrome and bleeding bright reds and blues and purples and greens and yellows and golds back into your periphery as you take a step towards your own hand-forged destiny. And Abiku, what changes, perhaps, about your eyes as you take that step forward?
So her eyes have been like, they're like all, there's like no, eye things, pupils. There's been no pupils. And she walks in, it's almost like mimicking like the clouds on her face, like this, you realize it's been like a mist, and this mist like rolls off and like off all the way like in behind her, and you see these like bright orange eyes filled with like rage and sorrow and determination of this person doesn't leave this room.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, as color shatters into existence around you, you breach that threshold, your eyes become unclouded. For the first time since we've seen Abiku Ishtar, they glow, almost like glowing with determination and fury and grief, those bright oranges, just like your magic. And I think you start to like fucking approach Tyrion and V. And I think before we get any further, we pull upward out of the vault, we shimmer through the surface of this vision, and we cut back to Geron in the tapestry room. You see all of this shit happening. You see Gentle on one end, you see this stuff go down in the vault. You hear every word Tyrion has said. You see Abiku beginning to approach, feet aflame. What do?
I don't think that this is even a question for Geron. Gentle looks like they have their situation handled, but V very much does not. And now with Abiku there as well, I think it's a pretty easy choice for Geron. They recognize that right now V needs him. And so they turn away from the ring where Gentle is and they run towards the ring where the Vault of Benoit is, and he jumps through. And as he jumps through, he is aiming specifically to get in between Tyrion and V. And as he does that, he will cast Sanctuary on V.
Okay. Geron, it's a pretty far drop. You hurtle through this corridor where you see the vault, and it's like, as you pass through the ring, it's like diving into like a really cold pond. It like shivers around your body. You feel conjuration magic, just rearrange your molecules a little bit. And all of you, Abiku, at the same time as you're like hoofing it, running toward Tyrion and V, you see like the ceiling shimmer, and coming out of a mural, like of, I think like a Fire Kingdom farm, right? Like up in the sky. You see Geron just fall, just like sort of like shimmer out of it and begin to fall downward, like trying to plummet between Tyrion and V. Arm outstretched to cast Sanctuary. What's the range on Sanctuary?
It is 30 feet.
So you're gonna have to wait until you get within 30 feet when you're falling down. I think you do. But as you like hurtle downward, almost like a dagger being thrown by an expert marksperson, you fling like your arm out. And what does it feel like to V as Sanctuary is cast?
So the way that Sanctuary manifests itself is that holographic tail that kind of like whips around V. And I think in this moment where she is consumed by pain, I assume, of an unimaginable degree, I think some of that maybe doesn't necessarily lessen, but it feels like it's been kind of like pushed a little bit to the out of your bones and closer to like the surface of your skin, and you can feel and see that any attempt that somebody would make to hurt you is gonna have to go through something.
I like that. The tail wraps around V, and I need all of y'all to roll initiative. Those of you who are in the chamber.
Even those of us unconscious?
Yes. Well, you're not you're incapacitated.
You're not unconscious. 21.
Natural 20 for 25.
Nice. Let's go, Ishtar.
16.
Okay. First to go will be Abiku.
I think the thing that makes the most sense is as she's running, I scream louder than I will scream in my actual home. Sun, it's time. And I will use my action to summon Sun.
Fuck yeah. How does Sun ripple into existence?
I think usually it's like Magical Boy, right? Like it like comes out of my bag or whatever, but I think it's like with like a thunderous boom and like crackle of magical energy just like above me, like fully just like manifests as if nothing was there and then something is there, and like the air, it's like right before a lightning strike, you know, when like the air like goes like stagnant for a bit, and then there's this like as this like large like skeletal drake appears.
Actually, I think because you got your memories back, Abiku, Sun is no longer skeletal.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we see appearing in the air, wings outstretched like an obsidian drake, right? Like with shadowy scales just rippling all the way down. And because Sun is your companion, Abiku, how else do they look now that they've got flesh and scale, fur and bone on top?
I think their fur is purple, like Shuni's scales were, and where it almost looks like a rainbow effect, you know, when like light hits it. And I don't know if there's like light in the chamber. I guess there's light in the chamber, but like even in this like fearsome moment, they have like a very like, they have like kind face and kind eyes. You know, they it's like, you know, when you go over someone's house and they have like a pit bull and it doesn't know you yet and it looks angry, but you can tell it really just wants to play, but it's also growling. And it's like that, where it's like, I'm doing my best to seem angry. I can't help that. My face is like this. And I tell Sun, grab V, I will get Tyrion. So I want Sun to use his action to like try and grab V.
And you hear like a roar just explode across the vault, almost seeming to fill it, even though like the chamber is so vast, the sun bursts into existence, and you hear his voice ringing in your head. You got it, Abiku! And they begin to cart off and fly toward where V is.
I will tee up lightning arrow for next time when I can shoot an arrow.
Sounds good. Are you like taking out your bow and like stringing it and preparing it?
I like
Cool.
start stringing it up, and I just like stop and Tyrion.
Well, if it isn't Abiku Ishtar. You look different. Your eyes are back. Do you remember everything now?
And I say, Mba, we have unfinished business.
And he replies in Ba, that we do. I didn't kill you last time, but you can say hello to Shin Yi in the beyond. Oh, wait. I guess in the nothing if you die here. I'll send you back where you came from. And you just sort of like see his other, one of his hands is on V's face and his other hand curls into a fist.
That's it for me.
Awesome. Next up is Geron, hilariously, because Tyrion was talking to Abiku while you were falling through the air. I think it's a free action movement to fall all the way down. Is there any way you can do to mitigate fall damage?
I take half damage on failed dex saves and 0 on successful ones. So can I
You
say
have the one you can use in reaction too.
That's only for attacks, and I don't think the ground is attacking me.
I think that ground is looking pretty fierce. Like
it's looking a little angry.
It's not a dex save. It's just flat damage if you fall, depending on how many feet you fall.
I was going to argue that maybe it is a dex save because what if Geron, knowing that they are falling from the ceiling onto the ground, what if they're like attempting to like essentially tumble onto the ground?
You know what? Because I'm nice to you, because I am gonna be nice, I will let you make a dex. I will let you make a dex save to see if you can absorb the damage. Go for it.
Yay!
Parkour.
Because I'm nice. Because I'm nice.
I got a 23.
Okay, let's say that's sufficient. So you'll take half damage. This chamber is
No, I take. Okay, that's fine. I won't push it. I was gonna say I take no damage.
You're gonna
on
take no
successful
damage?
dex
No,
saves.
for this one, you're not gonna take no damage from falling from 120 feet, Geron. I'm not allowing that. You'll take half damage, and you will take it with a smile and a grin, and you will say, thank you, Connie. So, it is technically 12d6, so you will take half of that. The total is 33 bludgeoning damage. So you would take half of that, which is 16. That's not bad. Okay, Geron, describe how you hit the ground and tumble.
I think Geron, kind of like as they're falling down, when they're getting close to the ground, they kind of like do a little bit of like a somersault onto the ground, and they land by instead of just like making like a hard thud on the ground, they kind of like roll a little bit, I think, on the ground first, and they manage to aim it so that when they are finished their roll, they're landing just in between V and Tyrion.
Okay, he's like right up on V, like his hand is touching V's face. So I need you to make an acrobatics check to see how well you can sidle between the two of them. And I will contest it.
That is 24.
Okay, make me a second dex save.
28.
Okay, that is sufficient. You won't take damage. So as you tumble down between Tyrion and V, you see his eyes shoot up at you, and you get the sense that he's doing something. He's about to like hit. Like if you get between, like, it would be bad if you got between him and V. So because you saved, I will let you choose. Do you take what he's gonna do to you, or do you dodge out of the way and have it go straight? It won't hit V, but you won't be in position between them.
Geron is going to continue to get in between the two of them. He will take whatever it is that's coming.
All right, then. You are going to take... And this is going to be full damage. Shows it. 61 points of cold damage. as his hand... Go ahead.
I will use my reaction to use Uncanny Dodge and halve the damage.
Okay, so 30 points of cold damage. As his hand, he throws his hand back as you cannonball between the two of them, and he just kind of lazily swipes it forward in the air. And you see like an after image of his hand swiping in the air, like a ghostly second ice hand, with these like huge claws come out and just like rake through where you are. And I think you dodge like maybe one of the claws, but the other two like gash you like across the front, right? And immediately crimson blood wells on your torso.
Geron lands in between the two of them, and I think with one hand placed like just on V behind him, the other one like on the ground to keep them up. They look up at Tyrion.
Well, 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 if it isn't Geron Carter, the traitor. You know, I really had high hopes for you. I thought you'd be on the side of logic, of reason. You know, I say traitor, but I don't mean that so derisively. What you tried in Dabathati, well, I was smart taking Adam's deal. You attempted to halt destiny in her ever-churning path. You failed. There's no shame in failing. But you get to make another choice here, Geron. Step aside. Let me kill V. And you can join me in the utopia I will make after I destroy the stranger.
Taking that deal with Adam wasn't smart. Trying to kill a paragon was foolish. And what you're trying to do right now is also foolish.
Foolish? Foolish? Is this so foolish of me to ascend to godhood and do what none of the paragons or the Eight could ever accomplish? Destroy the stranger once and for all? I'm the hero here. You're all the villains for trying to stop me.
If the Eight couldn't stop the stranger, what makes you think you could?
Because the god I will become will be greater than the Eight.
That's arrogant.
It's not arrogant. It's just how magic works. 15,000 years of accumulated knowledge. There are gods younger than me in other universes, other realities.
And in this reality, the gods are older than you, and still the stranger managed to sever them from the now. What makes you any different?
Because I have been consuming souls and magic and power for over 10,000 years, and once I get these, the curse will be broken. And I will become the most powerful being Andake has ever known.
Do you have no love for your daughter? You would kill her for what? For power?
Oh, of course. You're a Tamba. You're a Sievert. You're a Paya. Okay, I see. There is no reasoning with sodden fools like you. Love, Geron Carter. Let this be the last word you hear. Love is weakness. Love is what fools and cowards cling to when they have no power. I've come so far. I've ferried over 22,000 souls to the Raven Queen personally. What? By loving them. Don't make me laugh. I killed them myself because I didn't let such vulnerabilities tie me down. I have no weakness. Geron, it's your turn. What do you do?
How is V looking?
Bad. She is looking bad. She's gonna make death saves on her turn.
Oh, no. Okay. In that case, I think Geron looks up at Tyrion and looks over at Abiku, and I think makes the calculation in their head that Abiku probably has this. I hope. V's life is what is important right now, and so Geron will, I will use my bonus action to disengage to avoid provoking opportunity attack from this very scary man. And Geron is going to grab V, hoist her up, and start running. And as he does that, he is going to cast resistance on V. I think like while she's in his arms, they're going, "Don't die on me now, V. Ndake needs you." And their prosthetic like glows a little and starts to feel warm. As V, you can now add a D4 to a save of your choice.
Well done. So you hoof it like 30 feet away, I'm assuming. You grab V, right? You like dodge out of his grasp and you start booking it, right? Maybe toward where Abiku's running. Go ahead, Abiku.
A point of order at the end of this turn, Sun's probably going to pick them up.
Okay.
Because Sun's on order to Gracie.
I was actually gonna say, if Geron, like while they're running, like sees that Sun is coming, I think what Geron would try to do is jump onto Sun's back.
Would Sun let him? Perfect. Okay, yeah, you see this like actual drake with wings, right? Like sort of like soar through the air. It's no longer skeleton and bones, right? But like the face, you see Sun's face, kind and focused. You grab V, you jump up and you hoist yourself onto Sun. And now you're literally riding a drake, which is like the coolest thing ever, I think. Geron's on the back of a freaking dragon, yeah. And I think you like gently still hold on to V as the two of you cut and soar through the air. Okay.
And that is my turn.
Which brings us to V. Make a death save.
Add the D4 if you need it. If you need it.
I can use a luck point. I want to maybe. I can use a luck point, right?
You can.
On a death
yeah.
save.
On
so
saves.
I'll use a luck first.
Okay.
Okay, that's a 14. I'll take it.
That's a save? That's a save. Okay, so V, you're like struggling, right? And you feel like that glass dome that's like preventing you from contacting Scott and Nectus start to crack, right? And you feel like little snippets of their influence start to bleed back into your soul, but it's not quite there yet. And Geron, you notice as you're straddling Sun, holding V in your arms as she starts to stir a little bit. So V, if you want to, you can like talk and mumble as a free action to Geron.
Yeah, I think V feeling and having that image of Scott and Nectus like against the glass is just like probably doesn't get everything up. It's like out of vault. That's all V probably says, out vault. And then goes back into like screaming in agony. Not screaming, but like just grimacing in agony.
I really like that. Okay. Is that the end of your turn, V?
That's all I can do right now.
On Tyrion's turn. He stands there seeing Abiku rushing at him, seeing like Geron getting away with V, and I'm assuming Sun is like flying toward the vault door, like to get the fuck out of there. He goes, you know what? I don't think so. And he flings his wrist and the door slams shut. And all of you hear a like a churning noise as you hear like locks click. You know, I did consider your group to be fools, but I never thought you would be arrogant and truly insipid enough to challenge an ancient draconic mage in my lair, surrounded by my horde. And as he says this, you all see the items on the daises like begin to they light up and they begin to sort of like shake, and he sort of turns and looks at them and says, you know what? I don't feel the need to use my own power against you quite yet. I'll let you have your fun. It's been a while since I've had anything resembling a challenge. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I'm gonna roll. Oh! Should I keep the floor roll?
No Jumanji. I don't need to wake up and be inside a Dragon Bolt.
Should I? I'm keeping the floor roll. Actually, it's exactly the roll I wanted. And the scythe, grim, glows. And all of you see this floating scythe at the top of the zenith, shimmer. And you all notice Rev's ghostly form kind of ripple into existence behind it, and you see that she's got chains on. like manacles like on her arms, on her legs, and she's sort of like struggling against it, shouting like she's trapped within or something, like on that dais, as he like flings his arm out and looks in that direction. Aha! Yes, of course, Paragon of the Raven Queen. I knew that it'd be bad if she also got to fight here, but if I just have my weakened daughter and 3 non-paragons, this fight will be pretty easy. Shall we? And we cut over to Gentle. Gentle.
Yeah?
In your fog cloud with Bud, this, like, lizard folk chameleon man had introduced himself as, Yagli. My name's Yagli. Yagli Song. I used to be one of Sievert's lackeys. I felt like he underappreciated my talents. I'm an alchemist. I don't really like to fight. I like to turn invisible and stab people when I'm invisible. That's the only way I really know how to fight. I think I ganked V pretty, or was it Manaya, the big one? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That was way back in Dapathati. Because I'm an alchemist, I always coat my daggers in poison. The poison does most of the work.
Yeah.
Well, that's my resume. I suppose I should tell you everything I know. Well, it looks like you took my notes. The only other thing I feel like I should bring up is Tyrion. He is a draconic mage, and over the years he's become essentially invulnerable to all damage. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Even if you hit him, he just doesn't take any damage. Tombo was the same way.
But the poison?
Yes. We had to feed the poison to Tamba over and over and get her into a comatose state. That's when Sievert could pierce her heart with that spear. But, if he tried to kill her with that spear earlier, really wouldn't have gotten her. So, I guess if you slather the poison over him, or if you get the poison into his bloodstream somehow, that might be able to expedite the process, based on my findings.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I can deliver poison when I hit people?
Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't like to do it, but,
Well, theoretically speaking, I suppose you could infuse your punches with it,
Okay, and okay. I think Gentle just, quiet, absentmindedly, goes and walks back into the lab to just grab some of it, just because this will come in handy.
Sure.
And do you know where your boss is?
Well, he likes to spend his spare time in the vault. It's underneath the citadel. It's his personal. It's the only, off-limits area to the rest of us.
Could you show me the way?
Sure. But there actually should be a shortcut to get there. It's this room. There's whirling rings in it.
Oh, I know the ring room.
If we're going, Gentle, why don't you hop on my back? I'll get us there fast.
First off, I offer Bud a treat first off to help calm him down, because I have been deeply worried about his energy. Okay, I will say, you're going to have to be very careful in that room.
Okay, that's fine. I can be careful. I want to rip things. If I'm not gonna bite this guy's face off.
Yes, please. No, don't bite my face off. I'd appreciate that.
Then I want to bite Tyrion's face off.
We can try to bite Tyrion.
Can I have some of that poison for my teeth?
No. I'm immune to poison. You're not.
Oh.
You'd get really hurt.
Fine. But you butter him up a bit, and then I'll bite him when he can take damage.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I think the 3 of us are off.
You're gonna. Oh, yeah. Yagli goes. Yeah. I appreciate it, but I'm just gonna. I'm gonna pack up my things and leave.
Okay.
Tyrion doesn't like it when people double cross him. I mean, just look at Sievert.
Be careful, but also just be better. Use your science for good. Try to make the world a little better. You shouldn't hurt people with it.
Is that a threat? Because you'll hunt me down and kill me if I don't. Because I will. If you're threatening me, I will use my science for good.
If if you're a bad guy, then you will get crunched by Bud. Not by me, but by Bud.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yep. Yes, I will use my science for good, I pledge. Yep, forever. I will not use it for evil again.
I'm rolling insight on that. I hate that was a nat 20. That feels like a waste of a nat 20. It's a nat 20.
Oh my god. He's absolutely telling the truth. This guy is like a minion. So he like responds to threats and like aggression. Like if you were nice to him, he'd, probably wiggle out of it.
Okay, perfect. All right, I hope you heal up. I'm glad you're gonna be better. Bye.
Bye. And don't tell anyone about me, please. Oh God, please don't.
I won't. Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
off.
And Bud runs off, leaving Yagli behind. You run down these corridors, Bud sniffing, like finding that scent trail back up the stairs, through the dungeon, like up past these like floating globes of light, back onto a landing, hoofing it. And like you run past some servants who are like, hey, watch it, like dodging past various maids and cooks and workers and whatnot, until like some sort of skids around a corner, like dragging like his like claws on like the wood and like kicking up little bits of shrapnel pieces of lumber, until you're at the end of the hallway with the various statues in their nooks on that now unlocked door into the tapestry room. And he starts hoofing it down this red line of carpet, and bursts through the double doors to see the whirling, spinning rings all around the tapestry inside. And Gentle, make me a perception check to see how quickly you can find the vault in this.
Perfect. That's an 18.
Very quickly, you see, I think your eyes are scanning it, you're looking for like places you've never seen before, and then you find it, sort of whirling along like a tilted axis, the vault. And you see Abiku, you see Sun, now with flesh and form, you see V slumped in Geron's arms on Sun, and Tyrion standing at the base. What do you do?
Can I see that it's a drop?
With an 18, yes.
I think I just look at Bud and I'm like, okay, are you ready to help save our friends?
Yes, I am. I'm mostly ready to crunch some bones, but I guess the saving thing can come in too.
You will be helping by crunching.
You did not allow me to crunch that guy's face off, so you owe me.
I do. Let's go, okay?
And Bud runs forward and dives through the whirling ring. Right as Tyrion is gesturing at this like ghostly version of Rev who's like straining wordlessly. It's like she's trapped in some sort of demi-plane or something, like attached to Grim, and she's just like trying to punch her way out. And he sort of like lowers his arm and like Rev fades away, and the light that's like lit up the base of the pedestal of Grim also dies down. Yes, that's a fun one. Maybe what I can do is I can start shrinking the demiplane that our dear old Revenant is in until I crush her into dust. And he starts to turn his fists, but that's at the exact same time that Gentle soars through the ceiling with a fucking wolf, like, between their legs. So make a strength check for me. Athletics, let's say.
Okay, that's a 15.
That's sufficient. Tell me how you like gently deposit Bud onto the ground.
I think we're aiming more towards having like a running landing. So it is mostly moving, like I'm holding on, essentially hugging Bud as tight as I can and using all of like the magic in my flying shoes to just try to like just guide him up enough so that as we hit the ground, it is at enough force that is like he just took a really big jump. And
yes.
Not like he's crashing.
Like 120 feet down. Yeah, you like glide kind of like with Bud down with your shoes. You like literally like Tokyo drift your dog until you like land on the ground, and Bud sort of like skirts to one side and sort of knocks against a huge pile of gold coins that go poof, splashing upward and flying, and he lets out like a roar and like a growl. And Gentle, you can roll initiative to join the order.
Okay. That is a 18 for me.
As you appear, Gentle, Tyrion seemed like he was gonna start doing what he said he was gonna do, which is to crush whatever pocket dimension he has rev in and start to kill her. But he pauses, right? I think you're behind him, maybe. You can be positioned wherever you want, right? But he sort of looks over his shoulder in your direction. Huh. Right. There was another one of you. Wasn't there another one of you? The one with the hood, but that doesn't matter. Fine, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't just play games. Let's just get this over with. I'm quite eager to ascend to godhood. I have been waiting 10,000 years for this moment. And now that Tamba's dead, and I only have one kill remaining before I ascend. Let's see if I can still do this. And he takes in a deep breath, and he breathes out, and as he does, he begins to grow. Tyrion's form, I think, elongates, becomes large, like he's just growing. You see like his suit melt into now forming tufts of fur that's like coming down the front of his throat as his body stretches out, ballooning up. He like turns from medium to large to huge to gigantic. Like he starts to fill up a lot of the space in this room, just like a long serpentine form, as he starts shifting into his draconic form, similar to the kind of draconic mage that V would have been. He's like serpentine, like a Chinese or Asian dragon, right? Like long with these like multiple legs ending in these sharp talons and this thick tuft of fur down his front, white, glistening, perfectly crystalline scales, and these antlers that come out and rake back viciously, like behind like his skull. And he's getting big, and I think we like pan down to your collected party as you all just look up, and we see like a shadow fall over your faces as he just gets big, and then we pan back up to him as he gets like he finally stops growing when his head is near the ceiling, 120 feet high. And so much longer than that. He is massive, with these like huge front claws and this whipping muscular body and a tail that disappears into the depths of the vault. And Tyrion sort of rears back, like a roar sort of bubbling in like the back of his throat, and it bursts out and it shakes the fucking chamber. Like you all see like little loose rocks fall from the mural, like a crack get through some of the paint. You see like these like golden coins vibrate and jitter all around you, like the pillars shake from just the force of his roar.
Like I said before, you fools, you challenge an ancient dragon in his lair.
And we're going to end the session there. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of Transplanar RPG, The Second Stranger. The next episode will be the last for this party. I have been your GM for this arc. I mean, yeah, it's going to be episode 8 for this arc. I'm your GM and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me all over the internet, but namely Twitter, TikTok, Ko-Fi. Where else am I? Itch at by Connie Chong, BYCONNIECHANG. I'm going to pass along introductions up and over to Dare.
Hi, I'm Dare. Oh gosh, so much happened. You can find me on all parts of the internet at Dare to Dream RPG, DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG. I know how to spell. I am just kind of on the internet talking about things and being very hot. And yeah, buy my games, check out my work. I'm honestly very smart too. I just don't like to talk about it. I'm going to throw it down to Erica.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica, and V's fine. This is fine, right? This is fine. You can find me at Erica Newgirl everywhere I exist on the interwebs. Come check me out on Twitch sometime. I swear it'll be a fun time. I'll pass it on to Humna.
Yes, hello, my name is Humna, and I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of. So if you like what I do, then you should come follow me there. And I will pass it up and over to Austin.
Hey everybody, I'm Austin. My pronouns are he, they, she. I just got done playing Abiku Ishtar. You can find me on Twitter at Sailor Scott Austin. It's at Sailor SCT Austin. I am a TTRPG writer, designer, player, and friend. You can find me over on Twitter, like I said, Sailor Scott Austin, and you'll see all the stuff I'm up to, like doing stuff here and all the other stuff. Take us away, Connie.
Yes, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be rating someone really awesome right now. No doubt to toss them a follow if you like their stuff. Say Transplanar sent you. Even if you can't stick around, rep the brand. Use the raid message in chat. I get so happy when I see that when we raid someone else. We're going to be streaming next Saturday with the Jukai group who are also having a bad time right now. We stream Saturdays at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We will see you for the culmination. We're on the last 2 episodes of the series. There's 2 more episodes left in Arc 6. I'm so excited for that. So see you next Saturday for Jukai, and then we'll wrap up the Saturday after that with the entire season arc. Bye-bye. Shbijo Bijo. Enjoy the raid. We love you. Peace.